Hey, I'm back. Yeah, I went ahead and gave them the food, and then one of the guys approaches and is like, they're four guys are approaching me. I'm like, this hasn't happened before. Like, that was my thought. And then a guy with the older guy with raspy voice, he's like, hey man, you got anything sweet? I was like, no, he was talking about like the chocolate lava cake. And I was like, that was just a rare occurrence, like very rare. I was like, oh yeah, we have this, here you go. So yeah, it's very rare occurrence. Yeah, those chocolate lava cakes, they're good, but they feel like diabetes. So yeah, hopefully I can get some water. Yeah, the clubs are open and loud. Like, very, very loud. Hey, there's a guy like with a barbecue stand or like a grill, and he's like serving food. So yeah, I need to buy some more water because like I have maybe like 2-3 bottles of water left. So yeah, I need to get some tomorrow morning, probably. Definitely by tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, I won't be able to like park by the church tonight. Tomorrow's Sunday. Forgot about that. So yeah, anyways, so I went off, and then like I guess she went ahead and spoke, and then like I went on a run, and while I was going on the run, I saw one of the other managers posted a sheet, and it said closing duties, and I looked through it, and one of the rules is basically like whoever is, there we go. One of the rules was basically if you are done with doing dishes, or if you're done with like anything else, you go ahead and help out the other person. And it's like, thank you. And so I did the clapping emoji, but I'm just like how is it it's part of the closing duties and you don't seem to comprehend like you need to help out the other people, like not just do only your stuff. So yeah, I was like, I'm so over this. Like I'm so over it. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. The general manager, she has not released the schedule yet, but I'm just like, this has got to stop. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, so my thing is like, this has got to stop because like I'm just, like, really, like, how are you, I'm just like, I've complained to the general manager. She knows that I've complained to the general manager, but I'm just like, how are you like this bad at your job? Like, just how? Because like I'm just like, how do you not comprehend that other people have lives and just like decide, oh well, I can go ahead and like, no, just no, just like no. So yeah, a part of me hopes I'm not scheduled with her again because I'm just going to be like, yeah, no. Because if like we end up staying like an hour after we're supposed to, so let's say we close at 1, we're supposed to leave by 2. And I understand like sometimes it's really busy, which does happen occasionally to the point where we can't get stuff done and we end up leaving a little bit later. So I get that. It does happen very rarely, but it does happen. Like aside from that, I'm just like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this. And so next time I'm basically gonna just like send a message to the district manager because I'm just like, this like, the general manager has talked to her consistently about her behavior. And the only thing that's improved or changed is that she's not always on the phone. Now, she's still not helping out, but she's not on the phone as much. And I'm just like, yeah, nothing's really improved. Like, it has, in terms of she's not on her phone. But other than that, I'm just like, she's not actually doing her job. So I'm just like, which is helping out the other employees. And then, like, for example, tonight, they're still kind of training some of the new managers. There's 2 managers that are currently in training. One of them, like, was doing dishes, so I did some of the dishes, and then I started being a delivery driver, and she ended up being consistent and just constantly doing dishes. And because of that, like, we were able to leave at a decent time, and it's like, thank you so much. Like, yeah, so I was very happy with that. So, yeah. And relieved. So that's why we left out at a certain time. It's been the past couple days. And then and then she, I guess, fled. I didn't see her for a while, for a couple of hours, but at the same time I was doing deliveries. And I was like, maybe she left, even though she's scheduled until 10. I was like, maybe she left. Maybe she quit. Because the next thing I know, I see, like, the general manager come in. And, like, after she came in, probably about 10-15 minutes later, the other manager, like, came out. And she tried to talk to the... So she closed with one of the other managers a few times. And basically, like, he ended up doing all the work. And she ended up not... She just sat in the chair. Like, she finished her job. But then after that, she just sat in the chair and did nothing. And, like... From what I can tell overall, he's not happy with her either. And so she went up to him and tried to talk to him, and he's like, looked annoyed and was like, man, leave me alone, or something like that. I was like, because, like, he's tried to get along with her, but overall, he's just been annoyed. Like, he's not a huge fan of her because of, like, her doing that. And then at one point she, like, stared at me and looked at me. I just sort of glanced at her from the corner of my eye, and I was just like, yeah, no. And it's because, so I know that sounds petty, but at the same time, like, I've tried to be friendly with her, and the other manager has also consistently tried to be friendly with her. The only problem with that is that, so they've both tried to be friendly, we both tried to be friendly, but she's consistently been like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and not really do much work, and, like, you guys will do all the work. Like, literally, I remember, like, we closed, it was me, him, and so him, the manager that I get along with, who actually does his work, and then the female manager who was like, no, we're gonna, like, finish and leave an hour after, like, we're supposed to leave by 1, we leave by 2 or 2:30. And I'm like, how? Like, so anyways, like, we've closed, and then, like, him and I will go ahead and leave out at a decent time, or try to. So yeah, we were just like, and, like, again, I know it sounds petty, but at the same time, unfortunately, I found that, like, and I think a part of it is that I've learned also with my mom is that you try and be nice, or you try and set boundaries, and then you try and be nice, and then like my mom's like, okay, I'm still gonna be like not a great person or not a nice person to be around. And so pretty much I found that the only thing that really works with my mom, or like in situations like that where you've tried to talk to them about certain things, that basically the only thing that works is like being like, okay, you cross this boundary, and then just shutting them off. Like being like, no, we're not gonna do this. Like, and then have that boundary there and be like, no, you like, no. Like my mom, what was it? My dad actually suggested that I go work at a national park in an area of the country, and I was like, I can't work there. And he was like, yeah, what you can do is that you can go to work at the national park, and you can leave the car with us, and then you can ride with your mom out to the national park. And so I guess my mom would like stay there for a while, or I don't know exactly how long, but she would go out to the national park, maybe spend some time out there, and then drop me off also at the national park. And I'm just like, I can't do that. I need in-state residency in order to make sure that I can get, like, I need to, like, in-state residency. I need that, or hopefully get that as soon as possible. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I need in-state residency. And I think she was trying to be like, let's hang out, because I was like, before, for Christmas, for example, I was like, no. And so I'm just like, yeah, no. Like, and I guess, like, after all the, like, I've tried consistently being nice to my mom, and like, yeah, we can, like, you want to hang out? Absolutely. Or like, yeah, we can go ahead and do that. But like, because of that, even after I've talked to her about her behavior, she doesn't adjust it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I've tried and waited like a majority of my life. She has not listened to me. So I'm like, okay, you know what? How about this? We just not hang out, and like, we're not around each other. And so oddly enough, from what I can tell, like, whenever I was like, no, I don't want to be around you for Christmas, she was like, oh. So, like, around Christmas time, she was actually okay. She was actually not as bad as she normally is. But also, yeah, and I think it was because it was only in for a couple of days versus, like, for, like, 2 weeks or something. So because of that, it made things a lot easier. But I'm just like, yeah, no. So, yeah, overall, I found that if somebody crosses your boundary and then you try and be nice, or like, you go ahead and explain, like, hey, don't do this, or like, you need to do this, and then they cross the boundary, that there comes a time where you need to be like, no, you crossed that boundary. Okay, yeah, no, we're not gonna do this. And then just like cut them off, I guess, or like cut it off because they crossed that boundary. So yeah, I guess it's like that, because they're like, in this case, my mom or the manager was like, okay, I'm still gonna cross the boundary, even though it's like, you know, someone has already talked to me about it. It's like, no, like, we're not gonna do this. Like, we're done. We're tired of it. Now, it may cut into my hours, but at the same time, I'm just like, conversational, hey, you know, we're leaving at 3 instead of 2 because that actually happened with one of the other managers. Like, we were supposed to leave by a certain time at 2, and like, it was because things were not prepared to be done, and like, nothing was done for closing. And he was mad. He was very, very mad. But like, aside from that, like, that was one time out of all of the times that we worked. Usually he's consistently like, alright, we're supposed to be here till 2. We will work until 2. And so it's like, okay, but we will walk out the door by like 2:01. So it's been a very consistent, I appreciate that, like, getting off at that time. So, like, but, well, even though I've been like, can we get off earlier? But in this case, like, comparing like her and him, I'm like, I much prefer closing with him because at least he works until like no to later than this time, instead of being like, oh, we're gonna go ahead and work like over the time. So yeah, in that regards, he hasn't really crossed any boundaries. But in her case, I'm just like, we've talked to her, like, I've talked to her, the general manager has talked to her, or I've like mentioned it to her. I've mentioned to the bad manager, I've talked to the general manager about this going on, and I'm just like, yeah, no, this has got to stop. Like, I'm so over it. And so the next case will be to go ahead and talk to the district manager, because I'm like, no, like, you obviously don't respect other people. Like, the general manager has spoken to you about this. I've talked to you about it and been like, I've got to go. And you apparently still don't comprehend. So apparently you only listen to consequences. So yeah, in my case, the next step is to talk to the district manager, because I'm just like, yeah, no, like, you're consistently bad. Props for being consistent, but it shouldn't be in something, you know, like, it shouldn't be consistently bad. It should be consistently good, or at least consistently trying and improving. It's not there. So I'm just like, So yeah, there's my little rant about that. I did see the thing where it mentioned about where was it? The winds and such. So I'm guessing it has to do with me, because I'm consistently like a hurricane and such. So I'll address that, I think, tomorrow whenever I wake up. But yeah, that was my day. We got out early. We closed at a decent time, so I'm happy about that. But and left at a decent time. It is now about 2. But yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Have a good night and morning.